Hey, community, guess what? Our fourth anniversary of Minority Report is just around the corner.
Yes, ma'am. So join us, please, April 18th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a live recording. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
So, of course, that means bring your good wig, bring your favorite drink, have some questions, join in on the tea with us, and just come kick it with us and, just have a good time. So, we hope to see you all on again April 18th.
Alrighty, ladies. What time is it?
As
Your
your
auntie.
aunties.
Who's got it this week?
I can go ahead and read it.
Oh, you go for it.
Oh, you go for it, Dewan.
Okay. Hey, aunties, we have a new policy at work that encourages people to include their pronouns in their email signature line. I don't know why we're supposed to do this. My name is traditionally feminine, so people aren't likely to get confused about who I am. Should I include them? Interesting that they ended that question on the word them.
Them.
That part. No, you should not include them. You should include her, she. If that's what your traditional feminine name is. I mean,
I will say this. I didn't understand until I went to a private event of a showing of something that I can't share because I signed an NDA for Amazon. But it was during the month of Pride, and they had like a someone from Glamazon to kind of speak about the importance of using pronouns and stuff like that. And I didn't really understand the importance of just seeing someone with their pronouns and how that can just be a symbol of a safe space and how comforting it can be to see them. And it was in that moment I was like, okay, I mean, honestly, it doesn't hurt. You're putting it in a signature, so like it's honestly the least you can do. It's not changing anything. It's not telling you need to be someone else, you know? And then fast forward to probably like maybe 5 months later, I was teaching a class at work, and one of my learners came in, and it was a trans woman. And before class even started, she was like, seeing your pen lets me know that I am welcomed here and that I am okay. And I can't tell you, as a trans woman, how refreshing that is. And it literally like brought me to tears because it was just like, I I don't get it because I'm not trans, but I get it as being a Black person that walks into a room and that's the first thing someone notices, right? And being Black and white spaces can often feel like, am I okay? Like, is everything gonna be all right? And that's kind of like I think about just like when there's two other Black people and there's a whole bunch of white people. What do we always do?
we need to get that little
We
nod.
nod, we see each other,
Acknowledgement.
and we acknowledge, right? And essentially, that's what having our pronouns and our signatures kind of does. It be like we see, like I see you, we
Yep.
see each other. So hell yes, include it. And it's in a signature. So every time you open an email, you send an email, it's automatically there. It's not like you need to put her, she, he, them, whatever your pronouns are. You need to type it every time. It's in your
Right.
signature. It does it for you.
I agree. And I think you nailed it. It's just simply to show that I am a safe space and zone for you, and that I acknowledge you, I see you, and I support you. Point blank in the period. That's all it really does. And yes, even though the signature is talking about me specifically, it's literally to support others and the non-binary and transgender, all people that the pronouns matter to them. It
Mhm.
matters to me then, okay? And I'm gonna respect that. Because like you said, like there's been many times where we walk into the space and they see the Black and they find a way to make it uncomfortable for me. So I don't want to make it uncomfortable for you. And if that's like you said, that's an easy thing. You do it once and that shit is in there every time. And half the time I forget that shit is in my signature, to be honest, But I'm glad I did it. And every once in a while I'll catch up like, oh yeah, I did that, huh? So and then honestly, part of it too is like well, our company's pretty progressive in that regard, but like for as long as it's like it kind of shows them that hey, Carell might be a gay man. Let me watch what the fuck I'm talking about in my presence and in my vicinity because I don't want that around me. I don't want that energy around me. Don't be doing that around me. So if anything, it shows that I am at least minimum an ally to the community that I am a part of. So yeah, so do it if you consider yourself an ally. That's a small action that you
Yes.
can do. It's like you said, it's a bare minimum. It's not hard to do, but at least it's one step in an action besides just words of you saying, "Oh, I support the LGBTQIA plus community." No, the pronouns show that you're at least progressive enough to understand that pronouns matter to somebody else.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Professional.
I know, right?
I'm,
Come on, HR.
I'm
Tell us
Right.
that.
honestly, I agree 100% with everything you said, so I'm not going to repeat it. I find it interesting that particularly people from historically and traditionally marginalized communities will sit in their own privilege when it comes to other people that they don't share the same experience, and it's frustrating for me to read this this question um, because one, it makes me wonder, well, what kind of communication came out from your company about why they are putting this policy into practice
Yeah.
that you have to come on and ask a question outside of your organization to, three non I was going to say non-binary, but that's not us. Like three,
Yeah.
black gay men who don't identify as trans, right? To ask a question for us. So
Right.
one, I thank you for asking the question. But two, it makes me wonder what kind of enablement has your organization provided to leave such a gap in your head as to why this would be important and why you might want to consider
Right.
doing it. No one is asking you to redefine who you, I would assume, because I don't work for this company, so I don't know. Maybe they are. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there that
There's some out there.
right. They may be saying if your name is traditionally feminine, then you might want to be you might want to be this, that, and the other.
Right.
But it just but I digress. It's just frustrating for me when I think about, and I'm making an assumption that because your name is traditionally feminine based on your own words, that you probably identify as a woman of some gender construct, and that's not a read. That's just I'm just making an assumption because I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Um, but
Same.
but women have been ostracized and looked over and abused and are fighting for rights just like trans individuals. And so the least we can do as part of a community that is experiencing ongoing systematic oppression and bigotry and bias is to show up for others and that are part of other communities that really need our voices, and especially off of the heels of the Me Too movement and this ultra feminism that's been going on, that women have asked all other people to bond in arms and link arms and show up for them. It frustrates me. And so
And especially in the light of now with like the drag community and transgender stuff that's going on. That's another
absolutely.
bare minimum
So
thing you can do to show support.
if the question is truly genuine, and just know that my frustration isn't with the person specifically asking the question, but it's really the experience that comes over and over and over again when it comes to LGBTQIA specific issues, people who do not identify as LGBTQIA plus oftentimes lean more into their privilege. Oh, well, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to, make changes? Why do they have to change the bathroom? Because it makes for an equitable and inclusive experience where everyone, no matter how they identify, can show up authentically and feel safe and respected, and they don't have to fear. That's why. Now, if you don't believe in that stuff, or if you don't want to use your platform, which email is a platform in a corporate space, If you don't want to use your platform to support that, that is your choice. But you asked us. So we're telling you that if you
Oh,
want to
word.
show if you want to show support, put your damn pronouns in there. Just do
That
it.
part.
Just do it. Like this should not
The one
be.
said, you asked Yo Aunteas.
Right, right. So like this whole notion of I don't even understand. It is so inconceivable to me to even understand why I might we even consider doing it.
Yeah.
It sounds tone deaf. And it could be coming from a place of you just don't know, and I get that, but it reads tone deaf. This is not a conversation that we're just now having in 2023 in March of 2023. This is not a new conversation. And so, thank you for asking the question. I think you've got some really great answers here. I think anyone else who may have
It's the
wondered,
thank you after the end of the read.
And it was like this. He said,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you for asking the question after I just dragged you through everything.
I mean,
Drag you through your tone deafness.
That is the political way. It's like, don't ask no stupid question like that again. Like,
Punk ass bitch.
dumbass bitch.
And I sure was gonna follow that up with somebody out there might actually be wondering this question that's not part of your company, but you beat me to the punch.
But
Listen.
and honestly, like that was a response for like people and corporations, because we hinted on at it that there are still a lot of corporations and jobs that are just as tone deaf that aren't encouraging this. So at least maybe this company is, the wheels are starting to turn, and they starting to realize, or at least they don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
There's still companies that aren't even encouraging this or wanting people to do this. So yes, even though we're reading you for filth, it's a true statement that this is still going on out there.
And you're not the only
No,
uneducated one out there either. So
Mm-mm.
just
no.
know that there's a whole slew of people who have not caught up to March of 2023, like Auntie Dewan said.
People neither.
And so you're not alone. And that is why, we are reading you to the way that you need to be read, because there's no way that you're here today and not hearing about this. It's a choice to be in places where you're not hearing these conversations. And that is something you need to be asking yourself, is how can I be more aware of what's happening in today's time as well too. Because the truth of the fact is, as long as it took you to write this question, you could have been and updated your signature. Just saying.
Honey. The longest part it takes is to try to find where to update that damn signature in Microsoft
That
Outlook.
part.
It's like, where the fuck is that at?
That part. I have to acknowledge that for somebody that took the time to write this question into us, clearly they are someone that is
In Texas. Oh, sorry. Florida. I mean, sorry. I almost
Tennessee.
said Tennessee. Oh, damn. I meant to say.
Tennessee.
What were you saying?
Tennessee.
I mean,
Oh, Lord, I'm getting real stressed.
the fact that this individual, and perhaps a lot of other people that are wondering a lot of the same things, who are part of the gay community, maybe they are part of the LGBTQIA community, etc., who just haven't caught up. They're listening to us for a really great reason. I get that. But one of the things that we focus on a lot in this podcast is the importance of representation. Representation matters. And, as performative as the black square was for Black Lives Matter, but there, as performative as it was, we really appreciated, well, I can't speak for anybody else.
Right.
I really appreciated seeing that visible display of support. Now, of course, we back that up with, now what else you going to do? But
What you gonna do, bitch?
but you have to start somewhere. And if the place where you can start in your journey of allyship is by putting your pronouns in there to signify as a political statement, as a statement of support for the LGBT, particularly for the trans community, but the LGBTQIA plus community, that is the bare minimum that one can do in their professional settings in order to create that much more inclusive environment. And it might invite some really palpable conversations that can be really transformative for somebody who is touched and appreciate the gesture that you chose to do of your own accord to support
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, because the truth is, a lot of us move in silence when we're going through, and simply just seeing those pronouns can just be something encouraging and motivating and inspiring for someone to be like, I got this. I can
That
keep
glimmer
going
of
through.
hope, you know.
Mhm.
That's
Absolutely.
all you
And
need.
it's free. Most of the time, I'm telling you, put your money where your mouth is. Like,
You
this the
trying to
one
put your
time.
money, your feet,
Look,
your
okay?
Time.
these.
Okay?
Put your mouth where your
Look,
mouth is. How about that?
look. Speak up.
That part. That part. No, I agree. So continue to send your questions, even though we might read you. Still send them questions into AYA at minorityReport.com or DM us.